welcome back to my channel. It is Chantel, and today I thought I would come with some quick tips about starting a nonprofit organization. I know I did another professional video that basically talked about cause marketing, things that you might be interested in, things that you should think about. And so I was thinking like maybe I should do one for nonprofits as well. If you're not familiar, or if you're new to my channel, you may not know that I have a 501c3 nonprofit organization, the Society for Girls. I started this organization well over a decade. I think we're at like 14, 15 years at this point. But I started this organization with a group of my friends. I was living in the New York City area at the time. I had just finished grad school, or I was wrapping up grad school or starting grad school, one of those. And I just really wanted to make sure that I had something to contribute. And I think all of my friends were of like mind, where we just really wanted to give back. We were young adults trying to figure out our lives, but wanted to give back to the next generation of women. And so cut to, while I was in undergrad at Bowie State University, Bowie, BSU, I started an organization, the Society for Sophisticated Ladies, for freshman girls. And so I was just like, well, maybe we can just continue on that legacy. And so I started the Society for Girls. I think it was 7 of us at the time, from all, like my cousin was involved, friends, best friends, people I had met, like my girl Dana in grad school. We all were just coming together because we were young. We had so much passion for giving back to girls. And so we started a pilot program with middle schoolers. I remember me and Dana, we were both, I think, in New York at the time, and we would take the mega bus for $1 sometimes down to Baltimore into like DMV area so that we could set up these programs and do these amazing, I mean, we considered them amazing programs for middle school girls. So the Society for Girls, we've done programs, we've expanded our program. Originally when we started, it was just centered around middle school, that transitional time, but we've expanded to high school, college. We've gone back to Bowie State. We've gone to other colleges. And so we have our staple programs where we have a curriculum that goes into the school system, but then we also have our events like Girls Inspire Summit, Girls Inspire Retreat, Tutu Run. We do pop-up programs. We've also done incredible movie screenings that center Black leads, which has been great to make sure that our girls see themselves on screen. So let's jump right into it. So I have my notes that I created, and granted, these are all coming from starting in a Maryland organization, or starting a Maryland organization, but you should research your state's requirements for starting a nonprofit. First, you want to get very clear on creating your mission statement. I would also recommend just going into and supporting and volunteering and researching other like-minded organizations, because it might be something where you don't need to start your own, but you could partner with another organization where it makes sense to still fulfill your passion or your calling that you have. Next, I would develop a fundraising plan. When people think nonprofit, you really feel like everybody's going to be donating money. Everyone wants to give back to the kids, the girls, of course, yes. A lot of people do, but there are a lot of nonprofits. And so to get really clear on your fundraising strategy, your plan, also understanding that when you're first starting out, you won't have your 501c3 status. And that is basically your tax exempt status that says you don't have to pay for taxes. That also is a space where a lot of grants, a lot of funders, a lot of donors or in-kind people that want to give you stuff, they require a tax exempt status. So be very clear on your fundraising plan. In my experience, when we first started out, our fundraising plan was we hosted happy hours. I would also just look to family and friends. Like, of course, people are going to support you and support your mission. So that's a jumping off point. Next, you want to develop bylaws. Bylaws, and the state doesn't necessarily require them, but if you're interested in going out for your tax exempt status, you want to make sure that you have your bylaws drafted, because you have to attach a copy of them. For the state of Maryland, your next step is going to be file your articles of incorporation with the Department of Assessments and Taxations, I believe. Yes. So you go on the website, do that, bam, bam, bam. That's your first one. Then you'll file a trade name registration. And this is basically just making sure that you're the only person in your state that uses your trade name. You also, after that, want to apply and obtain an FEIN. So that is a federal employee identification number for the IRS. This also will be like your number that you use for your tax exempt status. It's basically your social security number for your nonprofit organization. Then you want to hold an organizational meeting. Maybe you've identified your board members. Maybe in addition to your mission, you've also established your vision. You want to start to put your ideas to paper, how you're going to execute, what you're going to do moving forward, the cadence of how often you're going to meet, all of that stuff. And then you can figure all of that stuff out and flesh it out during your first organizational meeting, or you can attempt to. After all of this, you want to, or you could, what we ended up doing, I was going to say you could obtain your federal tax exempt status. And what we ended up doing was we piloted our program for like a year or so. So we did a partnership with, what was the name of the school? It's a middle school in PG County. All right, I can't remember the name. Anyway, we partnered with them. We did programming with them for a year. We also did like fundraisers, pancake breakfasts, spaghetti dinners, all the things. So we did all that to, one, we wanted to tweak our programming. We wanted to update things so that way when we did file for our tax exempt status federally, that we had something to show. Not that we just had this idea, but it was almost like, if you're in business, it was almost like proof of concept, but beyond that stage. And so that's where we were. Let me tell you, I'm gonna put a pin. No, let's talk the federal tax exempt status and determination. This is a very long process. It took us months after we submitted our application. Now, one, the application is cumbersome. It is a lot. It requires a lot of documentation, a lot of patience, it just requires a lot. Excuse me. You need information from your board, bylaws. I feel like we also submitted like conflict of interest policies, tax exempt, not tax exempt, but our federal EIN number. The packet was so big. It was intimidating, especially for I think we were all in our 20s. I'd never done that much paperwork. We were so fortunate to partner with a pro bono lawyer that assisted in our process. So we had all of the information. They put our packet together and made tweaks. So it was a lot of going back and forth between him, and I can't remember his name, I'm sorry. I did try to look it up, but I can't find it. But he would tweak things. He would say, this was worded weirdly. I would go back and change this. He just did a really good job of taking his time with us, but then also going back and making sure that we hadn't forgotten anything. Luckily, after that, we got our tax exempt status, we still have it to this day. So once you get your tax exempt status, you also want to register for charitable solicitation in your state, other states, all of that. Any state filings that you have to do, you should do now. You still have to file taxes even if it's under a certain amount. It's a EZ, 1099 EZ, I believe. You still have to file taxes annually. Either you can decide if you want to do a 990 EZ, which is a short form, and it's basically saying that you don't receive more than, I think it's $50,000 in annual gross receipts. So that's a quick one. But then a lot of grants and funders require more detailed tax return, and so that is a 990. We work with an accountant or a bookkeeper to actually go through, because it's very, very detailed. It requires a lot of information. So yeah, that is everything that I have today for starting a nonprofit. Let me know in the comments if you have more questions. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, we're trying to get, okay, it's almost the end of the year. Come on now. We need you to like, comment, and subscribe. I think I'm less than 100 followers, so I'd like to get 100 before the end of the year. So thank you so much. I will also include additional footage of my organization, how we have changed and grown over the years. It's so incredible to see. Our leadership team has primarily stayed the same, but we've had a lot of people come in and come out who have just been invaluable and who have contributed so much to the organization, so much to the girls, so much to the parents, everyone involved. We really, really do this work just out of the goodness of our hearts, and we're so passionate about the girls that we serve. Thank you so much for watching.